Hello, good morning and welcome to JoyNews Interactive. I'm here to mirror your comments to the rest of the world. We're live from digital address GA09925339 in Kokomembla Kra on DSTV channel 41 and Go TV channel 144. Your comments are always welcome on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram or JoyNews on TV. And I am Peter CBD. Thank you so much for watching. Now let's talk about the ambulances. On the scores of the ambulances parked at the forecourt of Parliament for months now, President Akufo-Addo said government is waiting to take delivery of all 275 of them before distribution will begin. Now, this has caused a lot of controversy on social media, but before we hear from people on the streets of Accra, let's listen to the President.
The Minister for Special Development Initiatives, who's been responsible for bringing them, told me about a month, 6 weeks ago, that some of the ambulances were in, should she distribute it? And I said no, she shouldn't. She should wait till they all come in. So one day we can distribute them all at the same time to all 275 constituencies. I saw myself getting into a tremendous amount of issues if you started distributing some and others didn't get it. Fortunately for us, all of them will be in by the end of this month. 160 odd are already in, and the balance on the high seas will be here by the end of the month. The 300 will be there. On the 6th of January, I will commission them, and then the distribution will take place simultaneously across the country.
That's President Akufo-Addo. Now, members of the public, however, have expressed disappointment with the President's position on this.
To me, we have to share what is available because already Ghanaians are in need of the ambulance. So we don't have to wait for what is coming before we share what is here already. So to me, we have to share what is available here before we think of what is coming.
I would have preferred that we shared, but because of the extreme polarization in our country, if we share, people will start playing politics and say, okay, you let this region out, you let this tribe out. So I think the whole thing should arrive so that when we share once and for all, everybody gets their share, and then I think they are good to go.
Okay.
I think it's a bad idea. You know, people are currently suffering. You know, we have a lot of deficit when it comes to the ambulance service in Ghana here, and if there are some available now, we should dispatch them so that people start to get to use them. So that at least for now, as we wait for the others to come, it can be in use and save other lives. So I don't think it's a good idea. I wish he would really think about it, and then we see something better in the country. Yeah.
The best now we have to do now is to share them, what we have now, than to wait till we have everything. We can never have everything before we share what we have. The little that we have, let's share it and save life.
Oh, we should go ahead and share it because we need it and we can't wait. And as to when the other ambulances are coming, we don't know. And the things, we have some of the ambulance available. Let's share it and use it. When the other one comes, then we distribute it. So we shouldn't wait at all.
It doesn't make sense at all because we have hospitals who have no ambulances, and then we have ambulances sitting there. And now we have to wait until probably somewhere in January 7, where the President says he's coming to commission them before distributing it out. And I think that here, in this case, not really thinking about the plight of the people at all. So it's very bad. I think if you have the ambulances, they should go. At least we are saving lives. If you can't save everybody at the same time, he says he wanted to bring about this balance. And I don't think that whoever he saves, he has saved lives, so it is not necessary.
Speaking on JoyNews Prime on the same matter was dear Jom Segbefia, a member of Occupy Ghana.
Well, we agree with the President on one call that he probably needs to bring everything together before he can distribute. But what we need to distribute aren't the ambulances so much as setting up a command center in the ambulances with emergency response systems, making sure that we have a bed management system, making sure that we've got EMTs that are well trained, and then making sure that people know how to use the ambulance in a way that generates the type of that can, cure the emergencies for people. And we have said this earlier, that whilst we believe it's important that deploy the ambulances so that a year from now, those ambulances don't become redundant.
All right, so you're saying that you have never said, Occupy Ghana has never said that the decision not to distribute the ambulances is a gross sign of it's a sign of gross irresponsibility.
We believe that it is a sign of gross irresponsibility to have left the ambulances where they are. But that is also a sign of the inefficiency in how government is thinking about the problem. One, the ambulances are important. But even more important, if we had a working command center, for example, even if we had 10 ambulances coming in the first time, there would have been a system that already deployed those ambulances in a way that those ambulances would have become effective. If you deploy all 275 ambulances to the 265 constituencies, what you are going to have is that every constituency will have ambulances sitting down there for that district or constituency. The bulk of people who need the ambulances will probably be in the city center. So people are here, they are dying, they need ambulances in the city, but 200 ambulances are sitting in places where the ratio or the need for those ambulances is minimum. It's a bit like, for example, how cab hailing apps work. You've got to concentrate in the places where they are needed. You don't just distribute into districts and all those places for distribution's sake so that people see an ambulance and they are happy because it's a campaign promise. Ambulances are not things that you put up for show. They are supposed to save lives. And the majority of, or the concentration of where those lives are is really where the focus should be. So number one, a command center is more important. And then once you have that command center, then the ambulances can follow. So whilst we agree with the president that yes, he needs to wait in order to put together all the ambulances, we say get a command center working first, an emergency response center in place. Then that center will know what to do with the ambulances.
You're still watching JoyNews Interactive with myself, Mapita Sividi, but we'll be going to the Electoral Commission where they're addressing journalists on preparations for the district level elections.
Yeah, other civil society organizations to be able to ensure free, credible and transparent elections. So without much ado, I will hand over to Mrs. Sylviano to continue with the program. Mrs. Ano, up to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Osman Erikasari, for the opening remarks. Next on the agenda is the presentation on the update on the conduct of the DLE, the District Assembly and Unit Committee elections by Mr. Samuel Tete, Deputy Chairman in charge of operations.
Thank you very much. So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen from the media. And on behalf of the Commission, we bring you warm greetings. And we are also very grateful to you this morning for your quick response to our invitation to this press briefing. On Tuesday, the 17th of December 2019, that is tomorrow, eligible voters in this country will go to the polls to cast their votes to elect new assembly and unit committee members to the various district assemblies and unit committees. The purpose of this engagement with the media is to share with the media and the general public the Commission's preparedness to ensure a peaceful and successful conduct of the district level elections. So on behalf of the Commission, we are pleased to welcome you to today's press briefing. we have to ask ourselves, what is the district level election? The district level elections is a term which connotes district assembly election and unit committee election. Both elections are held every 4 years to elect members to the assembly and unit committees. The tenure of the current members ends in 2019, hence the call for fresh elections. We must also note that the referendum to amend Article 55 Clause 3 of the 1992 Constitution has been cancelled and will not be part of the 17th December 2019 district level elections. So the district assembly and unit committee elections will come off as scheduled on Tuesday, 17 December 2019, as earlier said. Voting will take place at all polling stations in all electoral areas across the country, and voting starts from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. All eligible voters are therefore urged to go to their respective polling stations to cast their votes. Registered voters whose voters' identity cards are missing can still vote, since the voters' particulars are in the final voters' register. As part of the Commission's preparation towards the conduct of this year's district level elections, we will recall the Commission undertook some major activities. The activities included a limited voter registration exercise, exhibition of the voters' register, transfers of proxies and votes, receipts of nominations, platform mounting, among other things. As part of the build-up, the Commission undertook recruitment, interview, and training of all election officials. So all categories of election officials recruited as of now have been trained at the regional and district levels to prepare them adequately for their respective duties. The last batch of trainings, which is the grassroots training, ended on Saturday, 14 December 2019. In all, about 159,000 election officials have been trained for this election, and they include returning officers and deputy returning officers, returning officers special duties, presiding officers, key trainers or technicians, name reference list officers, verification officers, and ballot issuers. Printing and distribution of election materials. For effective procurement and deployment of logistics and other election materials, the Commission drew a detailed deployment plan to ensure the success of the management and deployment of its logistics to the regions and districts. All election materials and equipment required for the district level elections have been procured in sufficient quantities and dispatched to the various regions and districts. They include materials like validating stamps, ballot boxes, stationery, tampering pads, indelible ink, etc., etc. All notices of poll and ballot papers have been printed and dispatched to the various regions and districts. The notices of poll have been posted at vantage areas at polling stations and electoral areas across the country. The final voters register to be used. The final voters register of all the 31,851 polling stations have been printed and dispatched to the various regions and districts. Biometric verification devices would be used to verify voters in the elections. 58,000 BVDs have been refurbished and dispatched to the various regions and districts. The 58,000 includes backups, which would be used to replace BVDs, which would develop faults at the polling stations. In addition, well-trained technicians have been deployed to the regions and various zonal centers to provide technical support to the polling officials when necessary. With respect to platform mounting, the Commission started mounting common platform for all candidates contesting in the District Assembly and Unit Committee elections in all the 6,272 electoral areas across the country. The exercise started on the 1st of December and ended successfully on Saturday, 14 December 2019. Security. The Commission has submitted a list of all polling stations across the country, including flashpoints to the security agencies. This is to enable them to deploy security men to the polling stations on election day to ensure law and order. The Commission has also made arrangements for persons with disability. All eligible voters are informed that persons with disabilities will not be required to join long queues at the polling stations and therefore must be given the opportunity to vote anytime they arrive at the polling station to vote. In addition, the Commission has provided tactile ballot jackets in addition to the ballot paper for the visually impaired to enable them vote. With respect to publicity, the Commission embarked upon extensive radio and TV adverts to sensitize and educate the general public on the district level elections. In addition, the following mediums of publicity were also adopted. That is posting of educational posters as well as distribution of educational flyers. The Commission has also engaged what we call the public educators using the Commission's public address system mounted on the Commission's vehicles to educate the general public. In addition, women groups, religious groups, and faith-based organizations, as well as persons with disabilities, were also engaged as part of the sensitization program. It is also worth to note that District Assembly and Unit Committee elections will not take place in the Nkranza North and Nkranza South districts in the Bono East region and Lower Manya-Krobo districts in the Eastern region. Voters in these three districts will not vote in this election. With respect to accreditation of election observers, organizations and civil society groups who apply to observe the elections have been given the accreditation cards. The media, as we all know, has been exempted from paying for accreditation cards. Let's now move on to the voting process or the procedures for processing voters. The voters' first point of call at the polling station should be the names reference list table. That is the first table or desk. At this table or desk, the fingers of the voter will be examined for traces of electoral stain to ascertain that the voter has not already voted. If a stain is found and the voter is not a proxy, he or she will not be allowed to continue the process. However, if a stain is not found, the processing of the voter will continue. Assistant on table 1 will search for the name of the voter in the name reference list with the help of the voter's ID card. If the voter's name is on the names reference list, the voter will be given back his or her voter's ID card and be asked to move to the next desk. That is the verification table. At the verification table, which is manned by Assistant 2, will check the details of the voter in the register against the voter ID card, and in addition, for resemblance of the photograph in the register with the face of the voter. The barcode of the voter in the register will then be scanned using the biometric verification device. The voter will then be requested to put a finger on the fingerprint scanner of the BVD, and the process will be repeated for all the fingers if any of them fails on the first attempt. If the verification device matches the fingers of the voter, the device will show with a green light and give a message verified from the audio mechanisms of the device. If there is no match, a red light will be shown with a voice message rejected. The left little finger of the voter will then be dipped in an indelible ink. The voter then moves to the district assembly ballot table, which is the first table, and he or she will be issued with district assembly ballot paper after it has been validated by stamping the back. Then the voter is directed to the voting screen and the district assembly ballot box. The voter then moves to the unit committee ballot table, where he or she will be issued with a unit committee ballot paper after it has been validated by stamping the back. The voter is then directed to the voting screen and the unit committee ballot box. So the most important thing is, the first is the assembly, and then the second one is for the unit. The voter will be required to leave the polling station after voting and return at 5 p.m. to observe the counting. If you finish voting, the polling station is a restricted area. You must leave, and when it is time for you, it is time for the counting, you can come back and observe. Counting, collation, and declaration of election results. Collation of the district assembly and unit committee elections results will be done at the respective electoral area collation centers, and winners of the two elections will there and then be declared, and copies of the final results posted at the electoral area centers. We must also note that there are certain things that, when we do, can impact negatively on the conduct of the elections. This is what we normally call the election offenses. And we must note that both the election official and the voter can commit an election offense. And below are some of the offenses. It is an offense for anybody to vote or attempt to vote if he or she is not a registered voter. It is also an offense to vote or attempt to vote more than once. It is also an offense to vote or attempt to vote in the name of another person, either dead or alive. And it's also an offense to be in possession of another person's voter ID card without his or her written consent. It is also an offense to prevent someone from voting, knowing he or she is eligible to vote at that polling station. It is also an offense to induce or compel somebody to vote in a particular way. It's also an offense to be in possession of any election material without authorization from the Commission. It is also an offense to obstruct election officials while carrying out their legitimate duties. It is also an offense to destroy or deface any poster or material displayed in connection with the election or sent to the police station for the election. And this is quite common when it comes to the district level elections. You find defaced posters. It is also an offense to print any material without authorization from the Electoral Commission. That's election material. And there is a penalty for that. A person who commits any of the offenses listed above shall be prosecuted and is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 1 million Ghana cedis or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years, or both. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commission has put in place all the necessary preparations and arrangements towards the conduct of tomorrow's District Assembly and Unit Committee elections. The Commission is urging all eligible voters to go to their respective polling stations to cast their votes. Voters are also advised to refrain from acts which will disrupt the peaceful conduct of the elections. On this note, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you all and wish the people of Ghana as peaceful elections tomorrow. Thank you.
Please be generous. Another round of applause. I like that. Thank you very much, Mr. Samuel Tete, Deputy Chairman of Operations, for that comprehensive update on the DLE. Now we are on the open forum. Let me give you the ground rules. We are going to have 5 questions for the first round. And I would implore my fellow colleagues to stick to the issues regarding the DLE only. For now, if you want other issues answered, that will be for another day, respectfully. So we'll take the first 5 questions and kindly avoid repetitions. You know, when a question has been dealt with satisfactorily, please advise for you to ask other questions in relation to the DLE. And let me say that there will be gender balance. So the ladies, please ask questions. So, I want to be biased this morning.
Thank you. My name is Howard, CTFM. You mentioned 3 electoral areas that are not going to vote.
3 districts.
3 districts that are going to be voting tomorrow. May I please know the reason why they are not going to vote, and whether you have sensitized the people in those areas about the possibility of them voting tomorrow? And then again, when are they expected to have the guidelines? Thank you.
My name is Yawabim. Hi. First thing is 3 in 1. What? How many people in total are contesting for the assembly election? And if you give me the breakdown, male, female, and then also the unit committee, how many people are contesting, and again the breakdown, male and female.
Thank you. My name is Greg Smith from JoyNews. I'd like to find out, you mentioned that persons with disabilities will be made to join long queues. I do not really understand that. Is it that they will not join queues at all, or they will not plan that you substitute?
Yeah, my question is that is just one. Why the
But this year, and then electoral commission provide the announcement panel I can set the amount state. Bibia a candidate for Nankasa, and we say then I face the moment candidate for Nobisika and the Manchester State. The Tosu Bureau just said candidate for now more a contest, sir, a bay. More the accreditation, I'm on my chest by a candidate into a car. Should be a policeman, be an aspect, security, maybe or won't mediate and the founders with us.
My Pacha Bedasi, TV African, Samuel Aduba. The person is as a immediately in Kasena, Miss Ship, Omane, Ewomoka.
Course of election. 28 is 1 year. Okay. Yeah, respond. Okay.
Yeah, you will respond.
Okay. With respect to, I made mention of 3 districts which are not having their elections, not taking part in these elections, and the answer is very simple. They had DS in 2018. For instance, Lower Menya Krobo had its elections on the 16th of October 2018. So they have actually had this. In Kranza North and South, because of the, there were 2 financial institutions which I think went bankrupt, and the DKM and all that. So because of that issue, it's led to some sort of insecurity in those 2 districts. So with the main DLE, the security recommended that those 2 districts should be put on hold. So they had this a year after. With Lower Menya Krobo, I think there was a court case on that issue, so they could also not join the mainstream. So these are the 2 reasons they have had this. The second one is the statistics for these 11 elections. If you look at the male contestants, we have 17,601. And then we have male 909. We can actually give you the breakdown. This is region by region for the district assembly elections. So you find out that Western region, male 863, female 40. Western North, male 583, female 15. Then with the unit committee elections, the total number of male who actually filed to contest is 34,769, and that of female is 3,751. Okay, so that is it. Persons with disability. What I said was that this category of people, when they get to the polling stations, they are not expected to join the queue. They should be given the opportunity to go and then cast their vote. It includes the vulnerable, like even pregnant women and all that. So these are categories of voters that when they get to the polling station, we urge those in the queue to allow them to vote. With the security plan, the commission is not in charge of deployment of the security. That is the work of the security agencies. Though we engage them on so many activities, we give them the number of polling stations that we have, and then we also give them the flashpoints, the difficult areas which are characterized normally by violence and all that, so that they will actually know exactly how to deal with these difficult polling stations. With the issue of candidates, is it paying for or whatever? What I know is that the commission took delivery of new public address system, which were distributed to all districts to be distributed to the electoral areas for common platform mounting. So what you are telling us here is something which has not even come to the attention of the commission, which we don't know. So if that is what you have, then you can actually formally or officially write to the commission, and we will investigate. But on record, we took delivery of new PA systems together with the old stock that we have, and then sent them to the various districts for platform mounting. Then there was what was the question on the accreditation?
Whether candidates.
Yes. Normally, what we do is that, apart from the media and the fact that the district level elections is non-partisan, so we don't allow political parties and other things to actually get accreditation. The candidates, their agents can come and then collect what? Accreditation cards and pay for it, and then give them to their agents. Then there was the last question. As for the cost of the elections, Dr. Bosman.
In terms of the cost for the elections, the elections will take place tomorrow. When we started, we're having a referendum, district level elections, a unit committee. Along the line, the referendum was discontinued. So we are still in the process of disaggregating the financials. So I'm sure by the end of the week, we should have a fair idea of how the district assembly elections unit committee, how those ones will cost, and what will be the cost for the referendum. So as we speak now, we'll not be able to give you the exact figure until we finish tomorrow. Then we disaggregate everything in terms of cost regarding the elections. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, now the second round of questions. Please, no double barrel questions. Kindly go straight to the point. Thank you.
Yes, I would like this one be the last.
Any questions?
Yeah, okay.
I'm Abina from Accra. Please, I want to know if the security are aware of this preference you are giving to the persons with disability.